Welcome back to another exciting episode of Jake in the Wood. I know Wood's not here, and I can't quite do the intro quite as excited as he can, but I am excited to have special guest host, the Tim Kalishaw of the show, and iconic Syracuse sports fan Steve. Welcome back. Was that a beer belly? Or
Yeah, well, it's a beer
Oh,
belly.
okay.
That's a famous. That's a famous number.
So this week we got, this weekend actually, we have a lot going on in Syracuse sports. Not just the basketball tournament, which Syracuse has won the first two games. They tip off here shortly, so we got a chop, 2 o'clock. Did you know that this year in the basketball tournament they're doing something a little different? With the regional winners win 25% of that region's ticket sales. So they are getting a little money, not just the $2 million that they could win, and also Boeheim's real army, the actual basketball team, is practicing this week, getting ready to go to Italy. Those practices are unfortunately closed to the public, which is unfortunate, but stay tuned. And 2 o'clock on ESPN, check into Boeheim's army. What else have we got going on? We're going to do a really cool topic here today, but something that I wanted to talk about that I didn't get to talk about last time. We're going to do a topic in honor of duos that seem to be teaming up in the NBA, a little more than the big threes this year. But one thing about Kevin Durant tearing his Achilles, everybody seems to think that Kevin Durant's just going to bounce back next year. But they don't seem to talk about Boogie Cousins, who had the same injury a year ago and is signed with the Lakers. So they kind of have more of a big three. So I don't quite understand why Durant gets all this. He's going to be good as ever, but Boogie's going to stink, So that's been bothering me.
Yeah, it's pro ball. Nothing should bother you about that.
They're rich.
Yeah.
But so that's just something I hear talking about. I do think the Lakers have a big three when it's all said and done. But let's get to our topic in honor of those duos. We're going to talk about Syracuse basketball and the greatest duos in SU basketball history since 1987. I'm giving you the 8 best.
Well, let's preface this. Start off with it is very difficult to develop dynamic duos, if you will, now in the age of one and done. So 87, I think we're neglecting some real good players, but nonetheless. And if we miss your favorite players, it's probably because they stayed a year or two and didn't have developed a chemistry with a partner like Marty Head and Hal Cohen, for instance, but they're not in the mix because they're pre-87. So what we select, we'll stick by, but make sure you understand one and done is very, very difficult now in college basketball.
Well,
here we go.
You got to watch Louie and Bowie. Did you ever get to see Boeheim and Bang?
Oh, I'm not quite that old. I heard of them.
All right, let's get it started. Number 8, I started off with 99-2000's duo of Etan Thomas and Jason Hart. To me, that is the best defensive duo Syracuse basketball has ever had. Jason Hart, I believe, left Syracuse as the all-time steals leader. They didn't score a lot. Etan Thomas scored 13.6 points a game, which led the league, blocked 107 shots in the season. But to me, I think, and I'll take your opinion, Steve, that's the best defensive duo we've had here since '87.
Good defensive duo. Etan Thomas had a good pro career. He was a cerebral player. He had physical ability. He went on to a pro career. Jason Hart, I think he had a lot.
He played a lot of seasons.
He played a lot of seasons. He hung around, and they were a good defensive team.
Number 7, I had to give some love to C.J. Fair and Tyler Ennis for a team that started out 25-0. I love Tyler Ennis as a point guard. I wish he would have stayed another year, unfortunately. I always thought he knew when to get other guys in control, when to run, when not. Big C.J. Fair fan, 16.5 points a game in that season. And, I thought Tyler Ennis was a great leader. We fell apart down the stretch, but you got to give some love to a team that starts 25-0.
Again, there's an example of the one and done. Tyler Ennis was with us 1 year. I thought he should have stayed longer. He would have had an opportunity to develop. C.J. Fair, loved him as a player, was a lot of times out of position, but a great player for us. The team could have gone on to bigger and better things.
If we had some three-point shooting, which we didn't. Number 6, 1990-91. The highest scoring duo on this list, Billy Owens and Dave Johnson. Those boys really put it together. Billy Owens, 23.2 points, 11.6 rebounds, 3.5 assists. Dave Johnson was right behind him with 19.4 points. Again, the highest scoring duo on this list. The reason they're not higher, they lost to Richmond in the first round. So.
Yeah, was that a fact? I like Billy Owens as a player. He had a lot of skill, had a lot of talent. Dave Johnson, he had it, just some missed opportunities, I think, but they were a good combo.
It took him a while to get going, but once he did, he really did. My number 5 on this list, you can disagree with me all you want, I don't care. John Wallace and Lazar Sims, 95-96. Z Sims, 7.4 assists, actually shot 36% from three-point range. That's his senior season, which is a better percentage than Jerry McNamara ever had in any single season. So you can say what you want about Z Sims as a three-point shooter. He wasn't the volume shooter, but John Wallace, 22.2 points, 8.7 rebounds, 95-96. Cuse is in the house.
Let's stick with John Wallace as a savior of the program. He came in when we were on probation, had a great career. I think I was a fan of Lazar Sims. As soon as he stepped on the campus, I thought he had a lot of potential. He just took a while to develop, but I loved him in his senior season, believe me.
Yeah, again, another great point guard. Knew when to run, when not to run, who to get it to, where to get it, when to shoot, when to find his own offense, as he did in the Georgia game, which we spoke about before. Number 4 duo on my list, 91-92, was Dave Johnson and Lawrence Mountain, the second leading scoring duo on his team. Dave Johnson came back for his senior year, scored 19.8 points and 8.7 rebounds a game. Lawrence Mountain was recruited as a quarterback. Nobody knew who this kid was, came in his freshman year, and you want to talk about saviors of the program, 18.2 points as a freshman, 6 rebounds, and shot 49.7% from the field. That season we were suspended from NCAA play, but that team won the Big East tournament over Georgetown.
Yeah, I'll agree with that duo there. Who can fault Lawrence Moulton? So
yeah, you had the senior leader and then the freshman kid come in and kind of passing of the torch. My third best duo in Syracuse basketball history, 2004-2005, Hakeem Warwick and Jerry McNamara. Warwick with 21.4 points, 8.7 rebounds. McNamara 15.8 points, excuse me. Handy dandy. We all love Jerry, and Hakeem Warwick was just amazing in his time here.
I'll agree with all of that, especially Hakeem and that shot block in the final in 2003. And G-Mac.
Legend.
Legend.
And people forget, he wasn't recruited to be the starting point guard. That was supposed to be Billy Edlin, and Jerry was just forced into the role and became an absolute star. My number 2 all-time greatest duo in SU basketball history is 88-89, Sherman Douglas and Derek Coleman. 18.2 points for Sherman, 8.6 assists. Derek Coleman 16.9 points and 11.4 rebounds. Sherman Douglas left that year as the NCAA's assist leader. A year later, Derek Coleman becomes the NCAA's rebound leader. And this duo actually played more games in the NBA than any other duo combined on this list.
Sherman Douglas, the afterthought recruit, came back, and the unforgettable hike from center court just about in the Garden.
Indiana to Stevie Thompson.
Who can? That's a duo.
That was a great duo. That assist record has since been broken.
That could be number 1.
I do believe Derek Coleman's rebound number is still, I do believe he's still the NCAA's all-time leading rebounder. Again, this duo played more games in the NBA. You'd think Carmelo and somebody would have, but it's actually these two. And speaking of Carmelo, the number 1 duo, I hate to be Captain Obvious here, but number 1 duo, Carmelo and Jerry McNamara. And what can you say? Carmelo Anthony, 22.2 points, 10 rebounds. Jerry shot almost 36% from three-point range. Not quite, but almost. And that duo brought us our ring as freshmen.
Who could? There's another example of a one-and-doner, and who could visualize what could have happened had Carmelo stayed a second year?
Maybe he could have recruited LeBron.
Could be. Who knows?
That would have been a duo.
I would, it was Coleman and Thompson, or Coleman and Sherman, in my opinion, maybe at the top, but only because Carmelo was a one-and-doner, but those two got to be 1-2.
Hey, they got us our ring,
Yep.
so I'll put them there. Championships count, right?
Yep.
So that's our list. Comment, tell us below what you think. We'll post this on Facebook as well, so if you think we're buffoons, Go ahead and tell us so.
You probably are most times, but
We got the Tommy Challenge coming up in 6 days, so stay tuned for that. I might need one of those lifeline things. What do you call it? Help me, I can't get up. That could be possible. Bayheim's Army is about to tip off shortly, so check in for that. And stay tuned for Syracuse basketball going to Italy. And the football season's about a month away. They are rolling in the world's biggest crane to put that new roof up there. And I was hoping it would open up so we could breathe in the dome once in a while. That'd be nice.
there's going to be a lot more air into the dome. So,
So,
Good.
that's it. That's Jake in the Woods. Steve, I appreciate you joining me.
Yep, thank you.
Good to see you again. And click like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're doing good. We're trying to get more eyes on the prize, so stay tuned. Have a good weekend.
Yep.